Hello.
Hello there. So I'm gonna record you, and I wanna ask you about the lifestyle in Tulare County. I'm gonna start now. I'm gonna say basically, um, so until I met you, I thought Visalia was a dust bowl. I used to joke about the Inland Empire that when you drove through there, you just plugged your nose, and it was just a total agricultural cow town, nothing there. And then through the past 7 years, you have gone on incredible vacations, with the horses and the family and the off roading. So I'd like you to talk about what do you like about Visalia as far as a lifestyle other than work?
Well, I used to live in the Malibu area, and I moved here not expecting much because I knew it was a lot of agriculture. And there's a lot of dairy farms and things like that. We are considered the fruit basket of the United States, basically, because most of the produce that is grown in the United States comes from this area. But I have to tell you, Visalia, Tulare County, Central California, it's a very close-knit community. Everybody really looks out for each other. You know your neighbors. It's just, there's some amazing restaurants actually out here that, there are some chains, of course, but a lot of them aren't chains, and the food is amazing. It's just it's a lifestyle. It's country, it's city, it's basically whatever you want it to be. But even in the city, it's not like LA or Sacramento or San Francisco or even Fresno for that matter. Visalia, Tulare County in general, Kings County, all of those, it's really nice. It's a little bit mom and pop, a little bit city, but everything's within about 10, 15 minutes away from each other. Whether you're in Visalia or Tulare, it's easy to get from one side of the area to the other. Very little traffic. Just so much to do. You can go to, Kauai, to the lake up there. You can kayak. You can take out a houseboat over there, paddle boat, go fishing. There's camping all over the place up here. We're a 20-minute drive from Three Rivers, which is absolutely gorgeous, and the Sequoia National Park, where the General Sherman, tree is. It's the largest tree in the United States. And we have snow, skiing, snowboarding up in China Peak. And then we're only about 2 hours away from the Central Coast. So it's just a beautiful area. And, that's the Central Coast consisting of Cambria, Pismo, Morro Bay. It's absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, so I'm looking at a picture of you and Shannon with the horses and the lake behind you. What lake is that?
That's Kauai.
Okay.
That's Kauai. And then we also take them up to the coast. We go to Montana to Oro, and we go riding on the beach up there. There's a lot of horse trails. There's a lot of horse trails around where we live, a lot of rodeo, things like that.
Yeah, that's the other thing is the barrel races and the rodeo and all that stuff.
We have a lot of that, yeah.
And yet, it's so as much as you've got the camping and the horses and all that stuff, it still has a flavor, and it's current. It's got something for everyone, and it has some LA to it, but it doesn't have the drawbacks of LA.
Exactly. I mean, we even have in Exeter and Visalia, they have a one night once a year where you can purchase a bracelet. I think it's $40 now, and you can go up and down Main Street, and you can sample all the food that the restaurants have to offer, drink their wine, whatever. And it's a nice time. And in Exeter around Valentine's Day, they have wine and chocolate, so you get to go up and down the Pine Street over there and sample their goods. A lot of farmers markets, all kinds of things like that. It's just a wonderful place to live, and it's so funny because there's young people out here. They're like, oh gosh, I grew up in Visalia, Tulare, Central California, and I want to move. I want to go to LA or San Diego or something, and they end up moving, and within a year they come back and they go, gosh, I miss home so much. You have no idea.
Right.
And we're actually getting a lot of people from out of state coming here now. It used to be that Californians were moving to Idaho and Texas. Well, now a lot of people from Idaho and Tennessee, and now a lot of people from those states are actually moving to California, which is really funny. It's like they're switching places, and they're even really pleased with the way Central California is and everything. And like I said, it's just a very warm and it's a nurturing place to live. I mean, it's just, your neighbors, people care. There's still some theater here as well if you're looking for theater. There's plenty of things to do. There are some nightclubs, great restaurants, colleges and things like that also. There's sports. So there's really something for everyone. In Fresno, they've got a great concert venue. So and they do some concerts here as well. It's a little bit of everything. It's just great. It's just a little bit of everything and just the right amount. It's just not too much. So you don't get that LA vibe.
Right. So, okay. So real quickly, give me the breakdown of why would, or I say of all of the years that you've done this, what's the average type of client that moves to Visalia?
Someone who's tired of, the hustle and bustle. A lot of people that are looking for maybe, homes with some, larger lots, although there's plenty of properties that are just regular, tract homes as well. People, though, that are just, tired of the hustle and bustle of city life, but they don't want to go someplace that's really humdrum, but just a happy medium, trying to simplify things. And but again, there's plenty of people that move out here that, a lot of medical, a lot of professionals, attorneys, doctors, dentists, things like that. It's just, a lot of people that are looking for, maybe horse communities or just some, really good schools, things along those lines. It's really, a lot of people move out here for education. It's just a mix.
And you know what else I hear from you and from clients that you have is that some people are moving back or moving here because of family. So it's like there's one person and then my dad moved back here, or my dad's here and I moved back, and it's just I like that. I like the cluster. I like the family minded living. And then plus the atmosphere is family and local business. It's not like chain stores like crazy, and
right.
You're not missing out on anything. So okay, so now let's talk about the medical side. Like you have a lot of nurses and doctors that are relocating to the area. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. And have the people that have moved here said, "Hey, man, I really like it. I like it here." What do they tell you about the move?
I've had a lot of people move here from New York, and Connecticut and Ohio, and they're really thrilled with living here. In fact, they were supposed to be here for 4 or 5 years, and they were supposed to move back east again, and they chose to stay here. They liked it so much.
Wow, that's great. That's great. Okay, so now let's talk about the military. You come like one of your sons was in the military, right?
Yes, in the Marines.
In the Marines, and then also your other son was in the police academy or something. So
no, same son. He's a Marine and in the Visalia Police Department. He's a police officer.
Okay, so that's the thing. So you have an eye and ear out for the needs of military. You know what PCS means. For the police. How hard they work and that they need someone on their side protecting them while they are protecting the community. So
absolutely, and that's one of the things about Visalia and Tulare especially. They really do value their police officers here. And it's really funny. They love seeing the police cars in the driveway in certain neighborhoods. If you go to LA, you're not allowed to keep your car out in the driveway. You have to have it garaged here. It's out there for everybody to see because they really do. You know, they want to protect their policemen. They respect them and they appreciate them, which is nice. And same thing with firefighters, doctors. All of the emergency, personnel.
Right, right. So if people are moving to the area, medical and police and military, you've already done a ton of transactions like that, and the difference between someone may say, "Oh, I'm a real estate agent," but they really haven't had the transactions that you have. And I'll just tell you, from working with you and you telling me all the stuff you had to go through, you haven't had the easy ones. You've had the tough ones where you've had to do and jump and go the extra mile.
Oh yeah.
Is a thing. So you've got experience times 10, and then so then when it comes to I want to do a quick shift because I know you got to go, but how many you got your three sons, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're all married now, right?
Correct.
And then how many grandkids do you have?
I have 4 grandkids. Well, actually 5 grandkids with 6 on the way.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And then, so now, what about your fur babies? You got how many horses?
Let's see. We have 5 horses, 2 goats, a chicken, an indoor American miniature pig that's about 30 pounds. He's completely potty trained.
Wow.
He goes everywhere with us. And I have a parrot that's 34 years old that I raised from an egg and hand fed every 2 hours around the clock while he was a baby.
Wow. Okay, so that brings me to the last topic I want to quickly go is what a property needs to have in order to facilitate horses and pigs and goats and the like, right?
Absolutely, yes.
So that means that when someone has a property like that, or someone wants a property like that, you just can't go. You got to really qualify the real estate agent because everyone wants to sell them, but many don't know what it takes to own it.
Well, there's a lot to it. It's not. There's people get caught up in the romance of country living. And they have to realize that buying property, a home on land is a lifestyle. It's not just a house. It's a home and it's a lifestyle. It takes up a lot of time. So that's something that's first and foremost. And same thing with having horses. There are definitely some characteristics that you want to look for in any kind of a horse property. Obviously, if you're raising cows, it's totally different than riding horses or looking for a place to put an arena or a barn or whatever. It's going to be 2 totally different properties. If you're using it for a mix of both, that's a totally different consideration. Water is definitely a factor. You want an agent that knows the ins and outs of wells and septic systems and, potential problems and how to solve them. And because, just because an issue comes up during a transaction, that's no reason not to get the house. It could be, obviously, but a lot of the times it's something that's very, quick to solve and there's a solution. It's just problem solving. Same thing with certain properties. It's just, how the land is laid out and things like that. We bought a property with a little bit of a waterway through it, and we ended up having to move some of the ground around, and it actually was perfect for us. So very familiar with that. And of course, there's certificates and permits involved and things like that. It's not for the faint of heart. You definitely need to know what you're doing. You don't want to just get, anybody with a real estate license to help you out because they need to have experience in that field.
And that's what I see. So from my experience, someone that understands the engineering of the land can be of a lot of value because in one case I had something that was the seller had an engineer out and they said it was going to be $150,000 fix. But our engineer had it done for $50,000, and it gave us some room. On the other side, if someone, let's say someone is buying an estate for horses and ghosts and all that stuff, and they're coming from L.A. or New York or whatever. They need someone that boots on the ground that has done this a bunch of times and can see the property for what it really is, not just grass and dirt.
Exactly. And how to get water out to the horses, things like that. 'Cause sometimes the water isn't close to where you want to keep the horses. And it's just, that's another thing. I get a lot of clients from out of the area that are looking to buy here, but they can't come to look at houses all the time. So I'm their eyes, ears, nose, everything. Going out, looking at houses, seeing if they're in an area that's desirable. If they make sure everything's as it should be. If the land will work, make sure the house doesn't smell funny, any kind of mold issues, things like that, so that at least I can, try to line up some homes and preview them with the people and, do a virtual walkthrough with them to see if it's something that they would really want to come back to see, because it's a lot of money to, travel. So try to make it as easy as possible for people that way also. So,
right.
But definitely boots on the ground and, looking out for people and, try to put them in the best position that even if they are buying from out of the area, to be competitive,
Right. It's as if they're here and better because you have the experience. They haven't bought or sold, 100 properties like this. You have. So you've
Right.
worked with clients, so and they get the best of both worlds because you're going to treat their request as if it's like yours. I've known you for so long. I know you put your client's needs above yours and above your commission. I know you have you own horses and you own all these animals, so you're gonna look at the property in relation to how well they're gonna live on it. So there's a real plus for someone that is remote, whether remote means San Diego or Los Angeles to New York or Canada or wherever. There's a big plus in having you on their team because you're how can I say, you're pretty, but you don't act like a pretty agent. Most of the pretty agents. They're just like, oh, I don't want to get my hands dirty. Oh, blah, blah, blah. You're the kind of person that would roll up their sleeves and get to work. So because that's what you do. You shovel in the morning. You're shoveling.
I do every morning. Yep, out there shoveling the manure. Yep.
Yeah. So it's that kind of person that you would want to have on your side, and for two reasons: for the remote or the local buyer, but then for the seller. So let's say a seller, they have a property and maybe it needs a little bit of work because someone said so. You're the type of person that can MacGyver it, talk to both parties, and get it resolved for less and sometimes for not much of a hassle. So. Because the other side could be, I forgot which one, but the other side had a buyer agent that really wasn't knowledgeable, and then you showed everybody, everyone was listening to you about, okay, I see this, but this is how you have to do it, and then everyone was happy, and that's another side of you that people, need to see. So. Basically, and the only thing I say is a drawback for you is that you just do too much. Like we've talked about clients, and you like, well, I feel bad, so I did this and that. You do so much for clients, and it's just your nature. I think it's been 7 or 8 years that we've worked together, and this is just your DNA. It's the way you are. You with your family, with your friends, and with your clients, and even buyers agents, the opposing agent. You help them. So you've just got a lot to offer. You know a lot. You've had all this experience, and it's just something that I don't see. And sure, I've worked with you, so I'm a little biased. But on the other side, I just think that for someone that's looking to buy or sell, oh yeah, one last thing, you are good with technology. Zoom,
Yes.
WhatsApp, Matterport, 3D marketing, aerial technology, and you know how to market so that it's reaching more clients than having a selling sunset little party where so and so is wearing the fabulous dress and the shoes and you show up.
Right.
You
Right.
reach more people, and then especially for the down to earth, the people that are looking for someone with a real estate technical background, meaning they know the land, they know the engineering, they know the houses, they know the things that could go wrong, they know how to fix them. You have the people in the area that can help. You just really have a lot to offer, and that's
Well, having the right tools in your toolbox is really important, to have the connections and good connections to get things done. There's times when people, they see a house and they're like, oh, it's beautiful, but it needs flooring, it needs paint, it needs this. I don't like the fluorescent light box in the bathroom, or, the little cutout for the TV in the living room. It's dated. And what they don't realize is it costs, maybe $200 to $400 to remove that light box. We can have flooring put in for them the day we close, and have the house painted, so that if they can just delay the close maybe 2 days, we can have all these things taken care of for them. It's like a new house. And so I have the tools to make that happen. And overall, I consider myself to be very blessed to do what I do. I love this career. Being a full-time agent is what I absolutely love. I love making people happy. That's what floats my boat. There's, some jobs where people just, yeah, it's all about the dollar, and, it's nice to make an income. Of course, we all have to. But my biggest thing is making people happy. And when people have to settle, let's say they're moving from out of state only for a few years, but they want to buy a house and they really don't care what house it is. And yeah, it's fine. It'll serve, whatever. That's what just breaks my heart, because I really I want to sell happy bubbles, as corny as that sounds. This is where people live their lives. They, raise their families. This should be a decompression area, not as a source of stress. I don't want to see them, be overextended on a home and have that kind of stress either. I want to make sure there's what they want in a home. It is their happy bubble, and that's what makes me happy, and that's what drives me in my career. There are so many choices out there for real estate agents right now, and a lot of new agents. During COVID, we got an influx of a ton of agents, and a lot of them are part-time. They don't quite know what they're doing, or they're part of teams, where they just kind of ink the contract and, do whatever their team leader wants them to do, but they don't have a lot of negotiating skills or things like that, or the contacts. And, it's just so important to get somebody who is a full-time agent. They know what they're doing. They have the tools, they have the people, the sources to get things done. They're not afraid to say, hey, you know what? This house, isn't exactly what you want. It's not what you're looking for. Or I see something that could affect future value here. I had somebody who I'd never met. He's a client of mine for a long time, and he has me scout out houses that, he might want to purchase for rentals. And he found one he was convinced he wanted to buy. It was beautiful. It was only 2 years old. It was decorated to the nines. Gorgeous home. The only downside was it was on the outside of a brand new neighborhood, and the houses across the street from it were super, super dated and old, and not really what you want in it, to have across the street from a brand new home. And he was going to buy this house sight unseen. And, a couple other things. It was a single story surrounded by 2 stories, things like that. And things that obviously in a hot market aren't going to matter, because people just want to get houses. But when the market cools and, eventually it's cyclical, it's going to go up and down, then homes like that are going to be a little bit tougher to sell. And, that's where it's important to have somebody who is looking out for you say, hey, this might be okay with you, but I just want to mention, this is what it looks like across the street. Are you okay with this? Or this is what the house smells like, or this is what the house looks like, or this is what I'm seeing. And, it's up to them to make the ultimate decision. I'm not there to make the decision for them, but I want to definitely bring these issues up to them so that, they can make an informed decision, because ultimately that's what I'm here for. I'm here to educate. I'm here to help guide them through it. It's not, people oftentimes are afraid to reach out to a real estate agent because they're like, oh, I'm not ready to pull the trigger. I hate that term. But, so I don't want to have to call them until I'm ready to sell or I'm ready to buy. But
And
what
you
buyers don't realize realize is that it's so important to line up with an agent ahead of time, because we can have your credit run to make sure there's no issues on it. If you're not ready to buy now, that's fine. Or if there's an issue, that's fine. But the whole thing is to get our ducks in a row to get you in a position to get you to where you want to be. And we do it as a team. I don't have a team. It's just me. But by team, I mean a lender and, together with the buyer or the seller. There's sellers that want to sell their homes, but they're really not in a position to. They think that they're qualified to buy another home, but maybe something happened and they can't. Or they don't understand that they can sell on a contingency. They don't know how to get out of the current home they're in and buy another one without being homeless in between. They don't realize that there's contingencies that, you can list on a contingency of selling your home and a successful close on the next one. And you can purchase on a contingency of the successful close of your home because you need that money to buy the new home. And I've negotiated some of those that are 6 contingencies deep. Meaning it's like a set of dominoes. One has to go before the other 5 can fall. And that is an art form. It really is. That is tough because everything has to close at just the right time because you don't want anybody to be homeless. And so, those are things that people have to consider. It definitely takes a lot of knowledge and a lot of finesse and skill to get that done.
Well, the other thing too, another thing I'd say that you do more than anyone else I know is you talk to people whether they're ready now or whether they're ready in 20 years.
It's all about relationships.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm here to help people. It's not just here to sell you a house or here to list your house or, Mr. Buyer, I'm here to sell you a house. Mr. Seller, I'm here to list your house. That's not, what I'm here for. I'm here to educate also and making sure everything's lined up. There's, I wear a lot of different hats. That's the thing. And it's just, it is. There's been some grueling transactions that I've had and people don't understand just how tedious it can be and how stressful, but that's what I'm here for, is to try to take the stress off the buyer and off the seller.
Yeah. Good. Okay. So